The Mavs get a late game dub against the Sacramento Kings, 100-98. Let's get into it on Big Vibe Sports. Let's go! Thank you for being here. I am your host, Tony Vibinwell. You are tapped into Big Vibe Sports, and this was another clutch dub late in the game for the Dallas Mavericks. This is a team that consistently all year long has found themselves in clutch games, dealing with last-minute heroics, trying to put things together for this team to come away with and scrap for every little morsel of a dub. Like, this is how this year has gone. And as Mavs fans, we have been looking forward to the future while also staying a little bit in the past and, healing from the things that have occurred the past 11 months. But tonight we can rejoice because the Mavs came away with a dub and gave us something to be happy about. Nowadays there's not too much to get up about, but whenever you can, you have to make the most of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to do it. We just got to do it. That's it. But this episode, I want to keep this as short as possible. I'm going to try to get through things much quicker than I did last time. This is only the second video of this channel, so bear with me. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still figuring out how to do all these things. As you can tell, I've been working on these graphics, just kind of trying to piece things together and make things a little bit more appealing and make things pop a little bit more for all of the viewers out there like yourselves. Thank you again for being here. And if you like content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, notification bell, all those good things, and leave a comment about what you thought about this game, what you've been thinking about during the season, and who's your favorite player on the Mavs. Right now, for me, it's Kyrie Irving, with a very close second to a close second in Cooper Flagg, and then I have to go with Max Christie and AD as probably like 3A and 3B. That's something like that. Anyways, so let's get back to this game. The Mavs come away with a clutch dub. Like, this is all they do, I feel like. You know what I mean? Let me go ahead and pull up the box score. While I do that, so that you guys can see what the score look like, as well as what these stats look like. I'm not going to take too long throughout the stats. I'm going to go through the summary of the game while these stats are up, so you can kind of take a peek, and then I'll talk a little bit about them at the end. Try to change it up as far as the format. Let me know what y'all think and ways I can make this better, because that's ultimately what I'm trying to do, get the best version of myself and become as efficient as possible doing this and giving you the best quality content that I possibly can. So yeah, let's get into it. The Mavs first quarter started out with the Mavs starting with their double big lineup with Gaff and AD at the 4. Anytime they've had this up to this point in the season, it's kind of been sluggish. It's kind of been lackadaisical. They haven't really come out in fast starts, and that's kind of what happened in this game. PJ is still out with a sprained ankle, so he didn't play in this game. But AD was aggressive early, drawing the Sacramento bigs into foul trouble. It was something that plagued Sacramento all throughout the game. Sacramento was hitting their threes, though, early and often to start the game, so it kind of put the Mavs on their heels as they were kind of clogging the paint and doing what they needed to do with AD and Gaff. They were leaving all of these three-point shooters wide open. You got Zach LaVine, Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan, and others who just lived outside on the three-point line, and they were hitting them. That's pretty much every team in the league against the Mavericks. They just hit their threes against us. That's just how it goes. Anyways, the Mavs were not shooting their threes to start the game. They were electing for more drives. So it wasn't really like a three-point shootout. It was more of like Sacramento would shoot their threes, Mavs would just drive in and get the layup, try to get the and one foul and that sort of thing. Mavs with 6 turnovers early. So this team has been plagued with turnovers, just like they've been plagued with injuries. Something else that they've been plagued with, it has been high volume of turnovers all throughout the year. I think that's probably predicated on the fact that they started Cooper at point guard to start the year. They've been trying to figure out these lineups. The point guards that we have on the team, while we do have some point guards, they're more score first or look for their own shot, like B. Will and D'Angelo Russell. D'Lo hasn't even been playing the past almost a month now. But anytime B. Will's in there, he's more of a drive first. I'm going to go for my layup. And that's what happened all throughout this game. B. Will was getting to the lane. He ended up having a good amount of points and was able to get some scores later on in the game. But early on, he was missing 3-point kickouts to people like Max Christie, who knocks him down with regularity. So that was something that I noticed throughout this game, especially in the first quarter. There were a couple of moments where it was like, Max is open, hit it. And then B would go to the rim and then get blocked or try to draw the foul, not get the layup, and it would just kind of fizzle out into nothing. In that first quarter, also, Coop had 4 assists like very early. He was wheeling and dealing, dishing and diming, doing all the things that he likes to do as a playmaker. That was something that was very encouraging to see. But like a broken record, this Mavs team go down 10 early in the first quarter, and the score at the end of the first is Sacramento 35, Mavs 25. Now, going into the second quarter, Nembhard starts that quarter, and right away you can tell what a pass first point guard can do for someone like Cooper Flagg, because all of a sudden, while Nembhard is starting, Cooper and a few others, Coop starts working early. He gets 2 straight left side drives with his left hand. He gets a 3 and he gets a dunk. And so right away he's like 9 points up, where he didn't really even score at all in the first quarter. I think he was 0 for 1, but he did have those 4 assists. I think a couple of rebounds too. Max Christie in that second quarter started to shoot and get more open looks. He got 3s early and often in that quarter, and so he started knocking down some 3s. He got a layup or 2. He wasn't as efficient in this game as he was last game, where he was much more aggressive against the Houston Rockets, and he was actually taking it to the hole, going for dunks. This was a very physical game. From the onset, like I was talking about in the first quarter, AD was drawing these fouls. Well, while those fouls were happening, you had Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan, and others just fouling the crap out of the Mavericks, not getting calls as much as Sacramento was, but you could tell it was starting to take its toll throughout the game, where especially Max Christie, he got hit a few times where it kind of took the wind out of his sails, and he just started to slow down in terms of his aggressiveness. So that's something I'm looking at with this team, especially as this team continues to get younger, to see how they can weather the storm and the adversity of going against a physically minded team. Even though Sacramento Kings aren't necessarily physically imposing, they're more so, they have savvy vets who have been in the league for a long time, who know how to kind of like dig into you, you know what I mean, and make you squirm, if that makes sense. Anyways, going back to second quarter, there was a moment talking about these veterans with Westbrook, right? He's somebody who has been maligned in this league for a long time. He's a former MVP, and this year he has been crushing. Like, nobody expected Russell Westbrook to come into this league or into this season with the type of efficiency and high-level scoring and playmaking. He's already had a few triple-doubles. He is the triple-double leader in the league over his career. And in this game, right away, he was barking. That is what Russell Westbrook loves to do. He's got some of the best quotes and some of the best memes on the internet. Look them up if you haven't seen them. I'll probably put some in here at some point and just like throw them in just for fun. I may do it even in this video. We'll see.
Your rating is 90.
They're clapping because it's good.
Yeah.
But to me, it just doesn't mean nothing.
Do you think Harden is a max player?
James Harden is a great player for our team. No more questions for you, bro.
AD told me the other day that he spoke to you about how to win the MVP, and you told him, gave him a little advice. Just talk about that. And
Yeah, I told him. Yeah.
What you told him
I'm
and
not telling
his
you,
performance
but,
tonight.
You know, he did a good job. He got it done.
You told him to shoot early and often. And
No, that's what you said.
Tonight you get another triple-double. Perfect from the field. Perfect from the free throw line. The first player ever to do that. Thoughts on that?
That's pretty interesting.
you guys lose this game or did the Jazz win this one?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. I'm tripping.
Anyways, so he was barking at AD like right away. There was a moment where he like pump faked, got AD up in the air, and then bumped him, got the foul. He didn't make the shot, but AD was shaking his head like this, and Russell Westbrook was like, "You are not about to block my shot." He just kept barking at him while he was at the free throw line, like, "You're not about to block me." So that was fun to see, just that competitive nature. And I feel like every game that AD is out there, he's getting some veteran talking mess to him. So that's something I'm monitoring as we kind of go through this new AD experience as Mavs fans. To finish out that second quarter, there was more and more turnovers from the Mavs. The Kings overall were more aggressive on offense, and you could really tell that this Mavs team is still trying to find their legs and trying to find what their identity is offensively. When AD is in there, they're definitely looking to get AD his shots, and then the rest of the guys are just kind of like trying to figure out how to work as a team around him. And that's something that I think probably most teams deal with when you have a high-level superstar who's not necessarily a ball handler and a natural playmaker. You just kind of have to find a way to get them theirs, but at the same time not lose the efficiency and the spark that you have as a player. So that's something I was seeing, especially in the second quarter. Cooper actually gets caught with a body by Precious Achiuwa in the second quarter. And this is the first one that I've seen Coop get into where he's going up for a block, both hands like this, and Precious Achiuwa just comes in and kind of like moves his hands to the side and then just dunks it on him. I was like, oh, hey, let's go. I mean, I'm one of those people where like I enjoy high level play of basketball. So even if my team is having things happen to them where the other team is just dominating them, like I'm okay to see that because that's showing me a version of adversity to see what my team can do, see what my favorite players, how they can pull themselves out of those ruts and come back and become the player that they're meant to be. So yeah, Cooper caught that body. He's caught a couple like fringe body moments where he's like going up in the air and he's about to put his hands up, but then he doesn't. He's like, yeah, they're going to dunk it. And he lets them dunk it. This was one where he fully tried to block the shot and he gets dunked on. It's going to happen whenever you're a shot blocker. I've been dunked on back in the past, not like crazy where I was like jumped all the way in the air, but you got to watch yourself when you're out there, man. These high flyers, they'll get you. And Precious Achiuwa all game long was super aggressive, super physical. We'll get into a little bit of that as we get to the end of the game here. But to finish off, again, the second quarter, B. Will was starting to turn the ball over in multiple plays, kind of back to back. That's kind of the same thing that's been going on since the first quarter in some of these other games throughout the season. He like I was saying before, he was choosing to drive and not kick out to the open shooters on the corners and on the side, and Max Christie was wide open a few times. But I think B. Will is one of those players where he's just going to try to find his first, and then once he kind of gets warmed up, he will kick out and do what's necessary. But it's not really his nature to do that first. So love B. Will, love what he brings to the team, but Ryan Nembhard is one of those pass-first point guards, and he's one of those players that kind of gets everybody else going, even if he's not going. And I think that's something that B. Will might still need to work on a little bit more, just to see if he can kind of even out his game and be a little bit more balanced as that point guard for the team. The Kings fast break was leading the way, and they ended up having 22 fast break points by halftime. The Mavs had 11 turnovers at halftime, and the Sacramento Kings were up 56 to the Mavs 48 at halftime. But going into the third quarter, in the last game that these two teams played, AD didn't play against Sacramento. So Sacramento was able to kind of dictate what was going on in the paint. And this game was much different because you had AD's presence on offense and defense. He was very active tonight. He was showing why he is still a top, 25, 20 player in the game. At times he looks like a top 10, where he's able to like deter all shots at the rim, block shots when people are driving in. And then he's able to like get dunks. There were a couple of dunks early on in the game in that first half where he got like a running dunk from the free throw line, as well as Gafford. He got one too. So that was great to see. But let's go into the second half and then get this thing wrapped up. In the third quarter, Coop comes out with a strong pull-up three. That's the very first play. He gets the ball, comes down to the top of the key, kind of makes a move around and just pulls up with a little bit of space in between him and his defender. This is something that we've been waiting for Cooper Flagg to do more often and more consistently, where he's kind of forcing his shot. He's one of those players where he's not going to force anything. He is always going to make the right play, and that's incredible whenever you have that as your pillar and your foundational building block moving forward as a franchise. But we also want to see him just kind of get uncomfortable at taking too many shots, to find where the range is of him understanding what he's capable of. Because we've seen him put up a 42-point game this season already as a rookie and as an 18-year-old. So the sky's the limit, and we just want to see him take more. I definitely do. And I'm sure if you're a Mavs fan, you probably do too. But Coop is aggressive to start out the second half. We love to see that. Gaff was getting blocks and rebounds. Mavs start with a 7-0 run. They were down by just about 10 to start this second half, but right away they get on a run and they're starting to build some momentum to get back into the game. Precious Achiuwa blocks Cooper Flagg. Then shortly after that, bangs knees with him on a drive. Cooper Flagg goes down. He's like holding his knee. You could see it was one of those moments where you're like, this season has been maligned with so many injuries. You're like, that is the one person you do not want to see go down with any kind of extended injury. Cooper Flagg has saved us as Mavs fans to give us something to look forward to every game. At least you're looking at a young superstar in the making who has yet to show you all of his bag of tricks. And he's someone that you want to see and you want to grow with as a fan. And I think that's why it hurt so much to lose Luka when we did, because we had grown watching Luka from a young teenager into, this mid-20s, many time first team all NBA and potential MVP multiple years. And you were like, he's on the cusp where we get so close to the finals and all the things. And then whenever somebody like that gets traded, it's a devastating blow. So to see Cooper Flagg, your next kind of in line in that same similar mold, go down with a potential knee injury, you're like, it's getting scary hours for sure. But luckily, within a couple of minutes, just like most 18 and 19-year-olds, he just gets on the bike. He's like, I'm cool. I'm just good. There was a cute moment where it was on the sideline. I think it was the trainer. I don't know her name, but she was kind of like going through the motions with him of like, okay, see if you can do this. See if you can jump over here and then do like this and bounce. And then can you bounce like this? And he was just like mimicking her with everything that she was doing. And it was funny to see. But that was cute. Then you got Coop coming back after a couple minutes. DeRozan, he is a mid-range maestro. That's something that has always been a part of his game and his bag. So he was just knocking them down left and right in that third quarter. B. Will sparks the end of that run in the third quarter with his driving ability, his layup ability, and drawing fouls. He's one of those players where every time he goes up, he falls down. Same with AD. Every time they go up and they do something athletic, they always end up falling on the ground. And, it's a physical sport. It's something that I'm learning how to deal with as I play these men's league games and these seasons and these leagues. It's like you got to take care of your body, and you have to take care of yourself in the game as well as after and post games and stuff too. So, but anyways, the Mavs in the third quarter with only being down by 2 points. Sacramento 78, Mavs 76. Fourth quarter starts. Coop starts strong again. Sacramento both of their bigs are in foul trouble. because they started that foul trouble early and often in the game. And by the end of the game, they both had 5 fouls. They both had to sit down and kind of like really temper their aggressiveness the rest of the game. And I think that allowed AD to kind of find his rhythm and find his flow, because he started to kind of impose himself a bit more. He was getting layups and dunks, putback dunks, and all types of things like that. The Mavs are battling back and forth to take the lead. So the Mavs finally took a lead from the first time since 14-13 in the first, with 4 minutes left in the fourth. That was the first time they had taken the lead all game. AD gets a big block on Zach LaVine as the time is starting to wind down at the end of the game. And then Cooper Flagg comes out. You can kind of tell he gets a really clutch bucket, kind of driving and spinning, going to his left, doing a left hook off the glass. It goes in. You can tell he has really been working on his clutch gene, so to speak. He's somebody who wants the ball in the big moments. And so they kept giving it to him as the game was closing down. And this is the very last, kind of like one of the last plays of the game. Coop has the ball after he scores that left-handed hook shot off the bank. He gets the ball, kind of drives up to the top of the key. They start to collapse on him as he's kind of going in for his drive. He sees B-Will on the right flank, and he just kicks it to him for a wide open three, and B-Will knocks it down. Now, B-Will hitting a three-pointer with 40 seconds left in the game gives the Mavs the lead, and they never lose it after that. The thing about this shot, why it's so big, is that B-Will for the entire season is an 18% three-point shooter. B-Will has not been hitting his threes. He has not been hitting them. So the fact that Cooper trusted him in that moment to just make the right play, hit it to the wide open man, and trust that B-Will is going to knock it down, showed us a lot of maturity, showed us a lot of camaraderie, and a lot of chemistry for these two young players to, go through the battles throughout the season, even though you're in a losing situation most of the times, most nights. The fact that they are able to come out with these wins, these scrappy wins, even if they are against teams that aren't even doing as well as you are, or also doing not as good this season, shows that they are trying to find their legs and find some moments that they can kind of hang their hat on and be like, okay, well, at least we took care of business tonight, and then tomorrow night, and then the next night, we can keep doing it. So the Mavs snap their losing streak against Sacramento. This is the first time they had beaten Sacramento since March of 2024. That was a crazy stat I heard while I was watching the game. Mavs finish 100, Sacramento 98. That was the end of the game. At the end, they interviewed Coop. Coop said he trusts his teammates when referring to trusting B-Will to hit the last shot to end the game. And it was one of those moments where you can kind of tell that this team with AD has potential to do great things. And unfortunately, of course, with injuries, with any team that goes through injuries like this, you're just never given consistent views and understanding of what a team can look like whenever your best players aren't on the floor. That's just something that you have to deal with. Just real quick to go through these stats. I'm not going to take very, very long here. Cooper Flagg led the way points-wise with 20. Anthony Davis had 19. Najee Marshall, 15. B-Will off the bench with 18. Coop, actually, if you look at the rest of his stats, he was kind of all over the place doing everything. This is something that is consistent with his game. Whether he's scoring 20 or 30 or 10, he's going to give you at least 5 or 6 assists. He had 8 rebounds today. He hit both of his free throws. He's a great free throw shooter. He really works on that. You can tell. Look at it. I like seeing this right here. 5 3-pointers. If we can get an average of 5 to 10 3-pointers from Cooper Flagg, that is amazing. Love to see that. I love to see this too. 9 3-pointers from Max Christie. This team needs to shoot more threes. Clay is obviously going to shoot his as many threes as he can get up in a game. He's just going to do that. And I think hopefully that's starting to rub off on these young players, these young stars in the making in Cooper Flagg and Max Christie. If we kind of go down, the rest of the starters did their thing. Max Christie had 11 total, and Daniel Gafford had 10. You see the plus minuses there. It wasn't like a huge defensive game tonight. I mean, the Sacramento Kings definitely held their own on the offensive end. They were aggressive all night, like I was talking about, and the Mavs finally found a way towards the end of the game to kind of build their aggression and be more assertive on the offensive end. And I think that's ultimately what gave them the lead and gave them the win tonight. So taking a look at the Sacramento Kings stats, you got DeMar DeRozan with 21, Zach LaVine with 20, Maxime Renaud with 14, Russell Westbrook, say that 5 times fast, 11 points. You know, he's going to give you everything. It may not fill up the stat sheet, but you can just tell you feel his presence all throughout the game. That's the type of player that he is. Whereas you have a Zach LaVine who had 20 points, but it didn't even feel like that. You know what I mean? I didn't even feel Zach LaVine's presence like that as much as I felt Russell Westbrook. I don't know. Zach LaVine's just one of those players where he has this incredible skill and he has talent and he'll jack threes up. He was 2 for 6. You know, like he can definitely dunk with some of the best of them in the league. At least he used to. I guess as he's getting older, you know, his legs aren't probably what they used to be. But anyways, DeMar DeRozan, you felt all of him too. He was one of those He's one of those players that just pops out on the screen whenever you're watching him because he has such skill in that mid range and it's like unstoppable at times. It's almost never like a bobbling around the rim and then going in. It's more of like a swish every single time, similar like Kevin Durant, somebody like that, who they just get to their spot and they just hit their shots over and over. And you're like, that is a professional scorer right there. Yeah, and like I said, Precious Achiuwa was very aggressive. He didn't necessarily have all the stats that you would probably like to see if you're a Sacramento Kings fan, but you kind of know what you're getting with him. He's gonna try hard, and he was giving it to Cooper Flagg most of the game. So Dennis Schroeder came off the bench with 11 points, and that was pretty much it for the Sacramento Kings. Again, Dallas came in with that dub, 198. I want to thank you again for being here with me. Thank you for tapping in. The Mavs cooked late to get this dub. Again, I am your host, Tony Vibinwell. If you like content like this, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what was your favorite play from this game. Let me know who your favorite player is. And let me know if you root for another team and you would like me to cover another team's game. I'm looking into that probably in the next couple of recordings. I'm thinking about it. We'll see. We shall see. Anyways, I hope you have an incredible evening, a incredible morning, wherever you are in the world. Much love to you and yours. Keep doing what you do. Keep spreading good vibes out into the world. And root for your favorite team because life's too short not to. Much love. Keep doing what you do. See you next time. Peace. This is Big Vibe Sports. Let's go.